All the things you should know before deciding to make a move to Bend, Oregon. Hi, Nora Spangler here with Robe Real Estate. Today I am just going to be 100% honest with you. I'm going to share all of the things that I think anyone moving to Bend should be aware of before you make the final decision. Number 1, did you know that Bend, Oregon is not perfect? Wow! Newsflash! Bend isn't perfect, but it is a great place to live. My husband and I and our little rescue dog Shasta moved to Bend, Oregon about 7 years ago, and we don't regret it at all. But that doesn't mean it's right for everybody. If you're dissatisfied with the location where you currently live, you might be hoping for the perfect small town, and you think you found it in Bend, Oregon. Well, let me tell you, Bend is full of human beings, just like everywhere else, and that means that it's not perfect. It's run by a local government, also not perfect. Homelessness has become a problem. There's political discord. Our roads need a lot more work. We have traffic congestion. So it's not perfect, but still, I think it's a great place to live, and my husband and I have been happily living here for the past 7 years. Second thing you should know is that small town does not equal cheap. You will soon find that out. When you're visiting here, it may not be that apparent. You're not paying utility bills, you're not buying a house yet, you're not paying rent, you're just having fun, so you're spending more because you're on vacation. But when you live in Bend, basically it's like paying the price of living in Portland in a bigger city. Everything is going to be that expensive, like going out to eat, concerts, movies. Home prices especially are high. So everything is going to cost you like you live in a big city, but you don't get the benefits of the big city. You're in a smaller town with less shopping, less job opportunities, so. Third thing you should know is about our weather. People ask me all the time, does it snow? How much does it snow? How cold is it? How long is the winter? Well, let me just say, I'm a summer person. I want sunshine and warm temperatures. You can see, I'm wearing fleece and I'm inside my house, and believe me, the heat is on. In a typical year, the average snowfall that we get in Bend is about 30 inches, but in the 7 years I've lived here, I have had 2 snowmageddon years where we got like 5 feet of snow and it was piled up everywhere through the end of April. And so far this year in 2022, we had very little snow. Now thank goodness the mountain had a fair amount of snow, but as far as snow in town, we had hardly any, and when it hit, it melted pretty quickly. So it was a really easy snow year this year. You can expect a wide range of amounts of snow and temperatures. It can be 30 degrees one day and 55 or 60 the next. That's what we've had this year. We had a lot of really warm weather this winter. It was quite strange. But what you can expect is more sunshine here in Bend. We don't get a lot of, weeks and weeks of gray weather like Seattle or the western side of our Cascade Mountain range in like Eugene and Salem and Portland, where they get lots of gray, cloudy days and lots of rain. Number 4 is fire season. Yes, we get fires, not specifically in the city of Bend. We haven't had a fire in the city of Bend for many, many years, so it's not really that much of a concern. But what is a concern is the air quality due to wildfires surrounding Bend in Central Oregon, or also fires in Washington and California and neighboring states can severely affect the air that we have to breathe. So I've done a couple videos the last 2 years. I do a video on what the smoke situation is like, so check right here. and watch the video from last summer. Sometimes August and September we can have a few days, up to maybe even 2 weeks. I remember a year, I don't remember what year it was, but a few years ago, it seemed like the whole month of August we had to stay indoors, and that's a bummer because that's my favorite month. It's the warmest month. It's when you want to get out and be on the lakes and hike and do everything outdoors. So you may have to put up with some smoky skies. Typically August and September is the best chance to get that smoke. And if you have a lot of lung problems, asthma, allergies, it could be a problem. Number 5, if you have kids that are still in K through 12 school, you might wonder, how do our schools rank? Well, I'm sad to say Oregon schools are not the highest ranked schools in the nation. Different sources that I looked at ranked us anywhere from 42nd to 39th in the United States, overall schools, including higher education and K through 12. Our higher education ranks about 22nd, so we do better at higher education than K through 12. So just something to think about. There are lots of options for private schools, special academies that your children might qualify for, Montessori schools, and lots of private options, and homeschooling is still, and probably even a greater thing since the pandemic. It's very popular in Oregon for people to homeschool their kids. So if that interests you, if you're already homeschooling your kids, then you can just keep doing that and not really worry about the situation in the public schools. Before I hit the last 5 things that I think you should know before you move to Bend, would you give this video a like if you're still watching? Click the subscribe button and then you'll get notified each time I make a new video. Number 6 that you should know is we have some traffic in Bend. Yeah, it's becoming a problem. Well, at least for those of us that have lived here for quite a while, typically I have to add about 5 or 10 minutes, depending how far I'm going, to any drive that I make in Bend or up to Redmond or down to Sun River, from what I used to maybe 5 years ago. Because yeah, our traffic is getting pretty bad, especially in Bend and between Bend and Redmond at the, I will say the commute times of day in the morning, especially from like 3 to 5 p.m. We just have to deal with that. The more people that move here, the worse it's going to get. I'm just saying. If you're thinking of moving here from a larger metropolitan area like San Diego or Seattle, San Francisco, and you're used to really bad traffic, freeway traffic that just sits and doesn't move, well, you're in luck because Bend doesn't even have a freeway. Well, we have a highway and the speed limit is 45 miles per hour. So we don't have freeways. You won't get really stuck on a freeway, but you will get stuck on our major roads sometimes for 5 minutes or so when you're just trying to get around town. So, it might not be a big deal if you're moving from a big city. It's still not a big deal to me. I still love living here. It's slightly annoying over the 7 years how it's gotten worse. So yeah, it annoys me a little, but I still love it here. What you need to realize is Bend is really remote. We are in the very middle of the whole state of Oregon. We're 3 hours or more away from Portland. Eugene and Salem are fairly good-sized cities, but you have to go over the mountain, and they're a few hours away. We're about 5 or 6 hours from Seattle and Boise to our east. So, you're kind of stuck here, and you're gonna have to shop and do with what you can find here unless you're willing to make a weekend shopping trip. Specifically, shopping, we have tons of grocery options. That's not a problem. Everything from Winco to Walmart, Costco, Target, all the shops, and plus organic like Whole Foods and Market of Choice. And we have farmers markets too, several different farmers markets in the summer. So you'll have lots of grocery shopping options, but where we're limited, in my opinion, is things like furniture, home goods, the larger, more expensive purchases that you might want to make. You're probably going to have to shop online and have something shipped, or you're gonna have to make a drive to Portland, Vancouver area to shop at some of the large stores and have enough choice. We do have some nice furniture and home goods stores in Bend, but I'm just saying that the selection is fairly limited. If you're really into shopping for clothes and shoes and fashion items, well, yeah, Bend may not be your ideal place. If you look at me and see what I'm wearing, fleece, a t-shirt, like this is how I typically dress. So I can find what I need in Bend pretty easily. But if you're really into fashion, you might find Bend's shopping quite limiting. If you want to get into the Central Oregon mode and wear jeans and plaid and fleece all the time, then you are fine because we have a huge REI. We have an outlet mall with Nike, Columbia Sportswear, and Eddie Bauer. So all of the outdoor apparel and shopping that you could ever want. What else do you need to know before moving to Bend? Well, if you're looking for that quintessential small town that is quiet and that's not really changing a whole lot, yeah, that's not Bend, not anymore. Bend has been discovered. Well, a long time ago it was discovered, but it's constantly being advertised and we get noted on all the top 10 lists for, best small town, best city for remote work, best outdoor town, best dog town, all kinds of things. And so people are moving here and we've been discovered and it's going to keep growing. So we've jumped from about 50,000 people about 10 years ago to over 100,000 people, and growing brings pain. Government, roads, housing, the homeless problem, politics, all these things come to light when a city grows that much, that fast. So it also brings opportunity though, and a lot of entrepreneurship. So it's exciting and problematic at the same time. So whatever that means for you, if you want a really small town that's not growing, you might want to choose one farther east from here. Burns, Baker City, somewhere farther east. Those towns are not growing as fast. They're growing, but not as fast as Bend. All right, we're almost to the end of my list. Number 9 is the housing market. I happen to be a realtor, so this is always on my list. Housing is expensive here. You should expect to pay big city prices in our little town of Bend. For the privilege of living in Bend, a single family home in the city of Bend, just last month in February, the median price was $820,000. Now that doesn't mean that you have to pay that much. There are homes less than that, but most of the decent sized family homes are going to cost you between $600,000 and $700,000. In that range, you'd be able to buy something most likely that would suit a family. If you want to live on the west side of Bend, expect to pay $800,000-$900,000 or $1 million and above. That's just what it costs these days to live on the west side of Bend. And if you're planning on renting, there's not any good news for you. Our vacancy rate typically is 1% or less, and I have seen advertisements for small one-bedroom apartments or condos going for $2,500 a month. So if you want a family-sized home, you should expect to pay between $2,500 and $3,000, maybe even more, and definitely more if you want to rent on the west side of town. Okay, we made it to the end of my list of things I think you should know, and the last and very important one is that I still love living in Bend. My husband and I and my little dog Shasta, we love it here. We love the weather, even though it's a bit cold for me in the winter. I absolutely love spring. It's starting to get warm, and summers are just heavenly. They're amazing. Warm and dry and sunny, all the best things. The other thing is that Oregon itself as a state is so beautiful, and there's so many things to explore. Short day trips to maybe a longer weekend trip. My husband and I already have our summer camping trip booked, which, by the way, If you want to camp in Oregon, you need to reserve a spot early. 6 months ahead is when they release camping spots. So boy, I got online and grabbed a camping spot at Wallowa Lake, which is just outside of Joseph, Oregon, in the northeastern corner. Beautiful, beautiful area. It's called the Switzerland of Oregon. Yeah, it has these beautiful giant mountains and a lake. It's just gorgeous, and there are so many places to explore. So number 10 of what you should know is that yes, Bend is changing, Central Oregon's growing and changing, but it is still a beautiful place to live. It is still a small town compared to many other places. Thanks for watching. There are more videos and playlists right here that you can watch and learn more about living, buying homes, and selling homes in Bend, Oregon. So thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you next week.